The gods have abandoned you. What love they once gave is now gone. The sea gives only water.
Providing for a very worthy opponent.
Give only wind. The earth gives only dust. Even the midday sky gives only twilight. And with their shepherds gone, the sheep fall prey to wolves. Without the gifts of Olympus, you are lost to the darkness.
Well, hello there, handsome / beautiful. If you couldn't tell from the intro, this is Apotheon, another tale about a Greek tragedy and a Greek person overcoming said tragedy. This person you find out to be Nicandrios, champion of men, godlike feats of strength. You awaken from your unconscious state while burning buildings surround you and even more dead bodies surround you. You travel up a little ways and you find a guard. This guard finds relief in the sight of your well-being.
Nicandrios, you're still amongst the living.
And he calls upon you for aid. Eventually, you fight off all the invaders and you meet the leader of them, the tyrant. He basically tells you, hey, I'm stronger than you, your gods have forsaken you, you're gonna die, just accept it. Long story short, you're Greek, you're a badass, you kicked his ass, you put a sword up his ass, you made a spit roast out of him, and he's dead. Immediately after the fight, you find Hera, goddess of all goddesses, Zeus's wife, conveniently hanging in the shadows. She then regales you with a tale of classic Zeus, his infidelity towards Hera, but most importantly, Zeus's and other gods' blatant disregard for humanity's well-being. You are now without the gods' blessings and gifts. No more game for hunting, no more crops for harvesting, and no more insight or help from the gods. So you are forever deaf, dumb, and blind. But that's okay, because Hera has a plan. You are her plan. As the champion of men, and as Hera's champion, you will embark on a quest, a journey, a story in the making to smite the gods that have forsaken you and eventually take over Zeus's throne, not only becoming champion of men, but to become champion of the gods. And so the yarn is spun, the tale is woven, and the story goes on. Now that I've given a brief description of the plotline to Apotheon, I feel that I should actually get on and start moving to an actual review of Apotheon. But before I do that, I feel like I have a personal obligation, a personal responsibility to at least tell you some pertinent background info about myself. Meaning what type of games I enjoy most, personal preferences in games, what I look for in games, nothing that'll take more than 30 seconds. I enjoy platforming games the most. I tend to look for creative and original games that can entertain me. This form of entertainment could be mindlessly killing people like in the GTA and Saints Row franchise, or something intellectually stimulating like Deus Ex Machina Human Revolution. All in all, it's more dependent on how well the game functions and how skill-based, thought-based, or story-based the game is. Well, if you stuck around after all that, I congratulate you and thank you for your patience. And without further ado, let's dive right into the review. To start things off, I'm going to try and hit this review as objectively as I can before getting into my personal biases that I have about the game. Objectively, and by that I mean the fluidity of the game, such as gameplay, visuals, any core fundamentals of the game. Basically, the game at its basics, how it functions. It is all very solid. It's very playable. After you have started the game and you are done with the introduction, the first thing you'll notice are illustrations and wording on the foreground. These show you how to do basic functions with the corresponding keys/controller buttons to perform said actions. They are simply worded and clearly drawn to show you what the action does when you press said button. After reading the instructions off the wall and trying your newly acquired skills for yourself, you are immediately put to the test with a basic enemy to see how well you can use your newfound knowledge of your newly found skills. If you notice on the foreground, it says tab and it shows a picture of a map. This is how you use to navigate worlds and to find out where to head for your next objective. As the world map has been pulled up, you'll notice that you are a green diamond illustrated in the map. Your objectives are black arrows encased in yellow circles, and what your objective has been clearly written and labeled, so as there is to no confusion about what you are doing. From this video, you can clearly see that you have been taught well enough how to use your tools and how to traverse your surroundings. You should also see that your world has been well lit, and you should be able to differentiate your surroundings and your enemies and be able to tell where you should traverse. Moving on to menus, when you open up your menu, you see you have the basic set of options to resume from paused game state, to save your game, load last save, load any saves that you have, options, and of course quit to main menu. When you're in game, you'll notice that you have menus at the bottom of the screens with corresponding keys to open sub-menus for various items and weapons. On the topic of enemies, generally speaking, the layout of the levels are going to be very straightforward, very intuitive. There will be some situations, though, that will prove to have some sort of strategic value, as you have to outwit your enemy, because brute force just won't do. Even though that I said the AI was pretty good, the AI is not flawless. For instance, you see me battling Artemis, and she is in a deer form, and I'm supposed to be chasing her and beating her down, basically killing her, and she seems to get caught on this ramp and acts very skittish. I mean, I know she's a deer and everything, but she didn't do that on any other part in that map. She just seemed to get caught on that one area and just dance back and forth. That's the only problem that I've seen with the game so far, and it happens on various other levels with various other enemies, but the instances are small, so it's just a little hiccup. Other than that, fundamentally, the game at its core is solid. Everything's good, the gameplay checks out, combat is easy and fun to do and can be challenging. The level layouts are simple. Everything I've said in the video. So now that I've done the objective review and went over everything unbiasedly, it's time to get into the subjective part of the review where I just fanboy and orgasm all over the screen. First off, coming into this game, I was expecting a lot visually, but gameplay-wise, not so much. I thought it would be another one of those, hipster pixel art games. where the visuals are cool, they're nostalgic, they're really creative, but the gameplay just, kind of sucks. But, oh god damn, was I wrong. I mean, I obviously wasn't wrong about the visuals, because that is what the game was initially praised for, and it really does look like this would be put on the side of pottery or some sort of urn. Like the developers, Alien Trap Games, they really got the visuals down. I mean, applause for them. Not only that, but they managed to take a simple point and click mechanic style attack system. They made it simpler, and they made it fun. It is fun killing all of these animals and mythical creatures and gods. Not only that, but the world feels enchanting. The voice acting was done impeccably, and the soundtracks, the soundtracks of what I've been using to fill for sound for this video, and I mean, you can tell a ton of work has been put into this game. I mean, a lot of man hours and woman hours for the ladies. Another thing I kind of wanted to touch upon was the boss fights. In this game, every boss fight feels unique. Every boss has his own character, his or her own character and style, their own theme, their own way of attacking you, and each boss fight feels unique. A great clip to show this I have is you are fighting Artemis. You reach her forest, and she states that ever since Zeus closed up the mortal world from Mount Olympus, her forests are empty, and she's bored having nothing challenging to hunt for game. She then turns around and turns you into a deer, and you've got to escape her while touching these checkpoints. And once you get all the checkpoints, you then turn around and hunt her as she turns into a deer, and it's just an enthralling and exciting experience. This game's got some jokes to it, and they're pretty funny, even though it's a game about a civilization, a culture, just so many thousands of years ago. It's still pretty fucking funny. For example, I got this clip with a bunch of nymphs.
Oi, footpad! Ain't no room anywhere else on Olympus. Unless you've got whiner tits, get lost!
Oh man, that moment made me genuinely laugh when I first encountered it. I'm gonna wrap this review up because I feel I prattled on long enough, and I know that the review is getting worse, not better. Just to recap everything, fundamentally, the game plays great. It does what a game should do. It functions properly. Minus the few instances, the few mishaps that I've had where the AI didn't track right and would get stuck on corners. The developers really took the histories and lessons and cultures of the Greeks over time and, really put it to use in this game. It's on its own, it's a misunderstatement just to say that they put it to good use. That's how great, that's how rich the mythology and the history and the culture is in this game. This is particularly evident in the visual style and the compositions. I mean, everyone said it. I've said it a few times. It really does look like you're looking at a Grecian urn or some sort of pottery. They nailed that art style down. And the music, I mean, don't get me started on the music. I mean, that sounds like some God of War shit, man. One of them in the tutorials when you're fighting the tyrant, it sounded like the Sephiroth theme music. I mean, I thought Sephiroth was gonna pop out and I was gonna have to kick his ass or some shit. Anyways, Alien Trap Games did a superb job, and I have to give this game, in my honest opinion, 9.5 out of 10. Not a full 10 out of 10 because of the few mishaps with the tracking of the AI. But the game just did come out, so there's a possibility of that being fixed soon. And if that's fixed so where the AI don't get trapped on random corners and stuff like that, this game is deserving of a 10 out of 10. I recommend you go buy the game now. It's only $12 on Steam, and I assume it would have to be 12 or $14 on PS4. It is definitely worth it. It's not another indie, hipster game that was just overhyped and a complete pile of trash. It's a masterpiece. It'll be something that people will be talking about for years from now.